What if I told you that one of the most famous stars of the 1970s spent nearly 4 decades quietly fighting a disease that slowly took away his body but never his spirit? This is the story of Alan Osmond, a performer, a leader, a father of 8, and a man whose life was defined not by fame, but by resilience. On April 20th, 2026, the world said goodbye to him, but his story, it deserves to be told in full. So today, we're not just talking about his death. We're uncovering his entire life journey, from childhood struggles to global superstardom to a heartbreaking battle with illness. Alan Ralph Osmond was born on June 22nd, 1949, in Ogden, Utah. He grew up in a large Mormon family full of love, but also full of challenges. Imagine growing up in a household with 9 children, where money was tight and responsibilities came early. Even more challenging, 2 of his older brothers were born with severe hearing loss. For most families, this would have been overwhelming. But for the Osmonds, it became motivation. Alan's parents believed in discipline, faith, and hard work, and those values shaped Alan from a very young age. As a child, Alan wasn't just playful, he was responsible. He naturally stepped into a leadership role among his siblings. He wasn't just one of the brothers. He was becoming the one who would guide them. The Osmond brothers didn't start with fame. They started with street-level performances, singing barbershop-style music to earn money. Picture this: young boys singing together, not for fun, but to support their family. That's where Alan's leadership truly began. He helped organize rehearsals. He pushed his brothers to stay disciplined. He believed they could achieve something bigger. And then came the breakthrough. They got a chance to perform on the Andy Williams Show. That single opportunity changed everything. Once they appeared on national television, everything moved fast. The Osmonds became a sensation. Soon, they weren't just performers, they were international stars. Alan, as the leader of the Osmonds, played a crucial role behind the scenes. He wasn't just singing. He was directing performances, writing and arranging songs, managing the group's image, leading creative decisions. Their hit song, One Bad Apple, reached #1 on the charts. Fans screamed at concerts. Albums sold in millions. But fame isn't always easy. Behind the lights, there was pressure, and Alan carried most of it. Being the leader of a global group is not just about fame. It's about responsibility. Alan had to make business decisions, protect his brothers, maintain the group's reputation, handle financial and creative challenges. And remember, he was still very young. While others enjoyed fame, Alan was working like a full-time manager. That pressure slowly began to take a toll. In 1974, Alan married Suzanne Pinnicker. This was one of the most important turning points in his life, because no matter how big his fame got, he always wanted a stable family. Together, they built a life centered around faith, love, discipline, family values. They had 8 sons together. Yes, 8. Despite his demanding career, Alan made time for his children. He wasn't just a celebrity at home. He was a father first. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 1987, during a performance, Alan noticed something strange. He couldn't control his body properly. At first, it seemed minor, but soon, the truth became clear. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a disease that attacks the nervous system and slowly takes away physical ability. Imagine being a performer and losing control of your own body. For Alan, this was devastating. Most people would have given up, but Alan didn't. Instead, he chose to fight. For nearly 40 years, he lived with MS. Some days were unbearable. Loss of mobility, extreme fatigue, physical pain, emotional struggles. But he never let it define him. He once said, "I may have madness, but it does not have me." That mindset turned him into an inspiration. Eventually, Alan had to step away from performing, but he didn't disappear. Instead, he transformed his life. He became a motivational speaker, a public advocate for MS awareness, A founder of charity work, he created the One Heart Foundation, helping children and families. He used his voice, even when his body was failing. In his later years, Alan focused on reflection. In 2024, he released his autobiography, a book filled with personal struggles, faith-based insights, lessons from his life. Even as his health declined, his spirit remained strong. He stayed surrounded by his family. On April 20th, 2026, Alan Osmond passed away at the age of 76. He was surrounded by his wife and his 8 sons. A peaceful ending to a life full of struggle and strength. Cause of death. While no official single cause was publicly confirmed, it is widely believed that his death was linked to long-term complications from multiple sclerosis. After fighting the disease for nearly 4 decades, his body simply could not continue. Alan Osmond's legacy is bigger than music. He showed the world how to lead, how to endure, how to stay strong in suffering. He wasn't just a star. He was a fighter, a father, a symbol of resilience. Fame fades, music changes, but stories like Alan Osmond's, they stay forever. Because in the end, he didn't lose to his disease. He lived beyond it. Rest in peace, Alan Osmond.